Finally, the final episode of Halo Season 2 has been released. Halo Season 2's first half was primarily devoted to getting ready for the Covenant assault of Reach, which Parangosky and Ackerson approved of based on what Cortana had revealed. In the battle, Master Chief lost Vannak and both he and Riz suffered serious injuries. When everything appeared lost, Kwan Ha, Laera, and Soren, who were fleeing both his own people and the UNC, rescued him and brought them to Laera. As the others headed to Onyx in pursuit of Kessler, the son of Soren and Laera, and the relic Riz retired as a Spartan. Makee and the Arbiter reached the Halo planet with the help of Cortana, but since they betrayed the Covenant, they unleashed their whole fleet on the ship Makee was in. Parangosky and Ackerson had made a new set of Spartans, and she sent them on a suicide mission that had destroyed everything in existence, including the Halo planet, if even one of the Spartans succeeded. Master Chief reached the Halo planet, and tried to get there before Makee did. The finale is a bit of a doozy. So let's dive right in. Episode 8 of Halo Season 2 opens with Master Chief talking to a disembodied voice about death and darkness, and then the episode cuts to Miranda examining something she has extracted from the device. Her mother and Kwan Ha stole from the caves. She is incessantly bothered by an overenthusiastic biologist named Janine. She goes on and on about Halsey and the spores that Miranda is looking into until Miranda has no other option but to tell her to get the hell out of there. That said, before ordering her to leave, Miranda asks Janine if she has touched the object, and Janine doesn't give a straight answer. This leads to a scary but well-done montage of Janine's deteriorating condition because she has in fact touched the object, and the fungus that's in there is causing her to transform into something evil. The scene ends with Janine killing another scientist, and the infection spreading to everyone and everything that she has touched. Kai leads her team to the battlefield, and as she starts giving a speech about how they are going to win, their ship unceremoniously explodes, which seems like a homage to the ship explosion scenes in Edge of Tomorrow. Paris, Kai, and a few others manage to survive the ordeal and reach a Covenant ship. They start to piece together a plan to breach its outer layer, and that's when their hopes are dashed by a massive Star Destroyer-esque vessel that's armed with a mini super laser. The use of sound design in this whole sequence is fantastic, and the visuals are top-notch. Master Chief has a heated conversation with Margaret because Margaret wants Master Chief to reach the Halo before Makee does, and Master Chief doesn't want to listen to her, and he is waiting to see the outcome of Kai's mission. Kwan Ha tells Soren that they should leave because she knows what the darkness is capable of, which is a reference to the virus that spread, but Soren can't do that because his wife and kid are down there. So, they decide to rescue them and then get out of there. For his small act of disobedience, Ackerson is locked up in a cell adjacent to Kessler and Laera's. The fact that Kessler and Laera are in the cell directly adjacent to Janine, in which she is seen vomiting a translucent parasite out of her mouth, adds to the suspense surrounding this minor subplot. On the ship, Paris, Kai, and the other members of their group interact with the SL elites. Margaret is told by the Master Chief to assist them, but she reminds him to head to the Halo world. In light of this, Master Chief makes the decision to don his helmet and set out to save Kai, Paris, and the remaining members of her crew. Cortana warns Makee that she isn't going to make it. Makee tells Cortana that her job is done, and she destroys the device from which Tana operates. A zombie outbreak occurs on Onyx. Paris is grievously injured, and she is dragged into the control room of the ship by Kai. Since it is up to Kai to complete the mission, she takes out the spike that'll potentially destroy everything in its vicinity, but she hesitates because that's not a fruitful solution. Thankfully, Master Chief gets there, and he makes a proper Indian movie hero entry by walking in slow motion through smoke and fire. Anyway, Kai gets the Spartan survivors to the UNC ships while the Master Chief goes on his mission. Soren and Kwan Ha enter the corridors of the Onyx prison facility, and they are greeted by one of the most eerie sights of the series. All the scientists and soldiers frozen in their place. The light cracking in their bones means that the parasite that Janine has let loose is burrowing its way into their bodies. By the way, the scene described above is followed by one of the most important scenes in sci-fi TV history, as Janine's body changes into a zombie creature akin to Resident Evil, complete with boils, tentacles, and parasites emerging from her face and neck. You may argue that you have witnessed sights more horrifying than that, but you also need to take into account the fact that up to this point in this series nothing akin to this has occurred. It's been a typical sci-fi program full of action and humor mixed in with some Starship Troopers humor. However, it's alarming since parasites that transform people into zombie monsters are so sudden and novel. Ackerson grabs a guard's gun and empties the magazine on Janine, thereby saving Laera and Kessler. However, as the guard begins to turn into a monster, Ackerson realizes that he is in a bit of a pickle because he has nothing to defend himself with. Soren and Kwan Ha notice all this from the CCTV cameras and rush towards the cells. Margaret brings in Halsey to convince the Master Chief to follow her orders. When Halsey realizes that Master Chief is chasing the Covenant ship that Makee was in to save Cortana, she tells him how to enter it instead of relaying Margaret's orders. We get a brief scene where Master Chief is talking to that same disembodied voice from earlier who is apparently interrogating the Spartan regarding his decision to save Cortana. Master Chief says he did what he did because Cortana is more than just an AI and she means a lot to him. That's when the voice says that it should talk to Cortana because she's clearly more knowledgeable than Master Chief. The episode cuts back to Master Chief entering the Covenant ship and seemingly integrating Cortana, who transferred herself into the Covenant system. Before Makee destroyed the device she was operating from into his suit, while the ship crashed into the ring. What is the flood? Soren and Kwan Ha killed the zombie guard and got Kessler, Laera, and even Ackerson out of the prisons. Master Chief wakes up on the Halo planet and sees how life is growing around the spots of wreckage, and that confirms what Makee was talking about out earlier in the show. The ring holds the seat of life. Cortana defines it as a living network. Master Chief decides to find Makee, and Cortana points at the large structure sticking out of the woods, saying that that's probably where Makee is. She is right because Makee and the Arbiter are heading toward the giant building too. Cortana asks the big question: who has built the large building and the Halo planet? She also theorizes if it has been waiting for the Master Chief and Makee. Given how vague the whole thing is, Master Chief pushes the theories to the side and prepares for his battle with the Arbiter. When Paris awakens, she discovers that Kai is utilizing a Covenant ship to crash into the larger Covenant ship, but she and the survivors have been moved to a UNC ship. After stating it's going to hurt, Kai destroys the ship that has a super laser, tipping the scales in favor of humanity. Onyx experiences a full-blown zombie infestation, while the UNC rejoices. Margaret appears to have been consumed by zombies or infected. After Halsey barely makes it to Miranda, she breaks into her usual cheesy smile and declares that this whole spore parasite and catastrophe thing is actually kind of cool. Why? Because now they can learn who built the caves or Vannak, or the Halo planets, and how these parasites probably destroyed them. Why would anyone in their right mind stay in the middle of a zombie outbreak to do scientific research instead of opting for self-preservation? I don't know. Thankfully, Halsey's nonsense comes to an end as she is frozen by the fungal parasite infection. Ackerson, Kwan Ha, Soren, Kessler, and Laera get into a gunfight with the zombies. While everyone manages to get to safety, Kwan Ha is cornered by the zombies. The elderly spirit stops them from attacking Kwan Ha, and she gives a somewhat succinct explanation of what's going on. She tells Kwan Ha that her ancestors and this monster, which is known as the Flood, have been in an eternal battle. Now that the Flood is out in the open again, it not only wants to consume Kwan Ha, it wants her to submit to it, thereby confirming that the Flood is a high-mind entity that intends to bring everything under its control and bring the galaxy to a state of equilibrium. Onyx is just one place that they are taking over. All those red dots that we saw in the holograph in the cave are probably all the places where the Flood has been activated because of Halsey and Miranda's tinkering. The elderly lady is probably the spirit of the Forerunners, the factions that built the Halos. Yes, there is more than one circular planet to tackle the Flood. Laera is infected by the parasite, and she apparently dies, while leaving Onyx in a pretty gut-wrenching scene. Soren, who is usually very snarky and chirpy, tells his son the truth about his mother's demise. Miranda puts Halsey into a cryogenic pod to hinder the spread of the fungus parasite thing, while a zombie looks at her through the glass. Which means that Miranda has nowhere to go, and she has to find a solution from that lab. Kai's lifeless body is seen floating in the debris of the crash. Master Chief gets into a brutal battle with the Arbiter. It takes place in 3 rounds. Master Chief wins the first round by slicing through the Arbiter's chest. The Arbiter wins the second round by putting Master Chief on his back. And in the final round, Master Chief goes into beast mode and kills the Arbiter. That said, he makes sure that the Arbiter knows he isn't killing him to give him a warrior's death. He is killing him to avenge Vannak's death and all the lives that the Arbiter has taken. In the final scene of Halo Season 2 Episode 8, Makee reveals her ultimate plan. Her goal is to utilize the Halo to destroy the humans, the Covenant, and all other parties involved in the battle. In other words, her ultimate goal is to become Thanos and use genocide to bring about peace amongst worlds. The constructions that emerge from the Rings Mountains and the fleet of UNC ships entering its atmosphere divert Master Chief from stopping her. It doesn't look good, but I'm not sure what they are. The program transitions to another segment of the Master Chief and the disembodied voices conversation, while the Master Chief pursues Makee that has already entered the structure. It's apparent that a lot has happened between the time Master Chief entered the structure and the moment he sat down to have this conversation with this floating one-eyed machine, which is probably the 343 guilty spark from the games. Apparently, the machine has also talked to Makee, and both of them have told the machine not to trust the other chosen one. The machine seemingly hints at the Forerunners and says that it has been waiting to meet Master Chief, who, by the way, claims that he isn't a part of the UNC because they were using him for propaganda. So, maybe Master Chief and or Makee are the key to stopping the Flood or allowing it to kill everything in existence. We'll know all about it when and if Season 3 comes out. If you liked the video, then subscribe to the channel and click the thumbs up button. Thanks.